RAF Menwith Hill in northern England is one of the largest electronic, or some would say spying stations in the world. Seemingly in the middle of nowhere, it's the largest intelligence gathering and surveillance base outside of the United States.
The main objection is that it's unaccountable. It was never debated in Parliament when they came in the 50s, just decided by a few people. Missile defence decided by a few people.
Well, I understand that the legal basis for these bases is pretty obscure, and it's never been approved in a clear way by Parliament.
Originally established during the Cold War to spy on the Soviet Union and its allies, a new report says Menwith Hill has now expanded its remit to spying on the USA's modern so-called enemies, such as Iran, as well as facilitating deadly drone strikes in places such as Pakistan and Somalia. Although exact details are hard to come by, it's thought that Menwith Hill is operated by the US Air Force and is a field station of the US National Security Agency. In short, it's one of a global network of intelligence bases which monitor the world's communications, eavesdropping on telephone calls, faxes, and emails from around the world.
To feel the ray gun to believe it, and there's only one way to do that.
Engage, engage.
To me, it felt like scalding water.
I've got several layers on, but the beam is still coming through my clothes, so I'm going to try some shields here. This is a piece of plywood. See how far this gets me.
Engage.
Oh! Leaves too much of your body exposed. They got me down in my feet. So I'm going to try this mattress here. It'll cover up more of my body. Okay, let's see.
Engage.
No. Oh!
Engage.
It hurts, but you can keep going.
Engage, engage.
That's enough. Some people claim they've been able to stand in the beam for 4 or 5 seconds. So how long can I take the heat? Here goes.
Engage.
1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, wire!
In the year 2017, the world's largest corporate merger leads to the creation of Eurocorp. The company is the first to spearhead the development of a biodigital implant, the DART chip. Fueled by adrenaline, its users experience unsurpassed connectivity with the dataverse, rendering all digital devices obsolete. Nations lose their relevance in a world dominated by these massive corporations. The world population swells to 15 billion. 57% are chipped and linked to their preferred corporation. The rest are digitally locked out of sight and out of mind. Industrial espionage reaches unparalleled heights. Covert agents are mobilized to protect and serve their interests. You are one of the chosen few, an agent.
Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Monday, March 5th, 2012, and I'm Darko. Website is ggnonline.com, and YouTube is ddarko 2012 and 2013. Alright, so I'm ready to go here. I have a lot to get to. U.S. testing pain rate in Afghanistan. You saw some of the videos of the pain rate. That was from 2008. Also, there's an article here based off the same thing, this vehicle-mounted active denial system. They have cute little names for it, active denial system. And you can go in there and check it out, but I don't want to mess around with copyright issues and having this video rejected and stuff and have to do it all over again because it's a stupid History Channel, which is basically it's just the military channel, basically just promoting all sorts of things. But you can go in there and check that video out if you'd like. Basically, this is from 2010, U.S. testing pain rate in Afghanistan. That's right, they sent over a microwave heat ray gun to Afghanistan, blasting locals with invisible pain beams. And then the story goes on, it says that it was actually recalled from Afghanistan. Well, it probably wasn't recalled, it was probably tested on the people and being basically planned to be used on the American people. But I bring this up because a viewer sent me some information on what he encountered just this past weekend. I'll go and read it in first person. Today I saw something that scared the hell out of me. I live near a complex called the Colorado Federal Center. In the complex is a massive FEMA building complex that has a fenced-off parking area. For a year now it has been empty, and there is normally nothing there but a few pickups and a box van all white with FEMA stickers on them. This morning on my way to church, I noticed it was parked with over 50 trucks, all camouflage, four-screen and olive drab, not tan. Remember those all those tanks in that, and those different types of trucks with stuff equipped to it running in California as well on the railroad tracks. I mean, there was just probably thousands of them. These trucks were Hummers, and then a few that he could not describe. They didn't look like any I've seen on TV, movies, etc. Then ringing around the fence line were trailers all painted forest camouflage with dishes on them. The dishes look just like the heat pain weapons that have appeared in the news. He says, no shit, we were talking about 30 to 40 of these things all tucked in under the trees that surround the parking lot area. After Mass or church, I drove back around the same spot and noticed new signs placed on the fences. I could not read them, but they had no trespassing on the top and a series of icons with the no sign through them. One of them was a camera. So if you have any stories like that locally, just let me know. I can't, independently verify it, but I'll just put it out there for consideration. So all right, we have Angry Birds meet Jailbirds. New application helps you snitch on your friends. We're talking about Big Brother now. It goes on, it says a smartphone that users can use to report, quote, suspicious persons, end quote, to the West Virginia Department of Homeland Security. The Domestic Counterterrorism Agency's West Virginia branch has unveiled a new application, a mobile cell phone application called the Suspicious Activity Reporting Application this week. And this, of course, goes into what? The Homeland Security DHS, if you see something, say something program, it's all about, snitching out your neighbor. So and there's even phone apps for the eco-fascists. I'm trying to remember the name of it, but basically you can use it to snitch out your neighbor for using too much water on their lawn or something. So who can shut down the cell phone service? FCC seeks public comments. The FCC is calling for public comment on the legality of the San Francisco Transit Agency's interruption of cellular service in August 2011. The Bay Area Rapid Transit had shut off cell phone services in its tunnels, anticipating a cell phone coordinated protest of the fatal shooting of passengers by the transit system's police. Then we have U.S. court approves warrantless searches of cell phones. It doesn't really matter. I've said this so many times, but it doesn't really matter whether there's a court approving it. They're going to do it to you anyways. U.S. police can search a cell phone for its number without having a warrant. Ooh, a warrant, a piece of paper. So according to federal appeals, a court, officers in Indiana found a number of cell phones at a scene of a drug bust and searched each phone for its telephone number. Having the numbers allowed the government to subpoena the owner's call histories, linking them to drug selling schemes. So it's all based off drugs anyways, which is, again, the reason for them being militarized. But yeah, Indiana's the same state that, like I said before, it's, if they go in there and they unlawfully raid your house, your castle, which is a Magna Carta law, then, hey, you can't defend yourselves anymore. So it says here, U.S. Congress expands authoritarian anti-protest law. I can't believe this happened, but it did. Bill passed on Monday in the House on Thursday, and it says here, and the Senate would expand existing anti-protest laws that would make it a felony, a serious criminal offense punishable by lengthy prison term to, quote, enter or remain in, end quote, an area designated as, quote, restricted. The bill is H.R. 347, Federal Restriction Buildings and Grounds Improvement Act of 2011, passed by unanimous consent in the Senate, while only Ron Paul and 2 other Republicans voted against the bill in the House. It says here it was 388 to 3, not a single Democrat voted against the bill. The security fears, again, big news, Chicago G8 summit canceled, relocated to Camp David. So remember, they had snipers, they had silencers for their weapons, they had helicopters and aerial surveillance, all kinds of stuff, and now they canceled. Print and online news will come under direct federal government oversight in Australia for the first time under a proposal issued yesterday to create a statutory regulator or regulator with the power to prosecute media companies in the courts. Moving on here, list of words the Department of Homeland Security tracks on Facebook and Twitter. Go in there and check them out. I've covered this before. Links will be posted. I'm not going to go through them because I don't have another reason to be messed with. TSA expands pre-check program to military personnel at Reagan National Airport. So yeah, talking about trusted traveler program known as pre-check is rolling out at Ronald Reagan Washington Airport. So this is, of course, what perks. So if you're the type of person that snitches, or you're going to sit there and put these LRAD and heat weapons and blinding weapons on your fellow Americans as they're protesting against this tyranny, basically you're selling out the Constitution and your fellow civilians and patriots and that. What? Oh, you get a front of the line. That's right. You get to skip the long security line. So it's all about the perks. So you can avoid getting scanned and radiated. And if you don't like getting that or your naked body image taken, well then, you get molested. So it's all about treating you as a children with privileges, rewards and punishments. The cost of America's police state, hundreds of billions, has been spent to militarize our nation against a terrorism threat that barely exists. Of course, the biggest drug dealers are the government, and the biggest terrorists are the government. So it is a big business, a big fraud. Britain government plans radical privatization for police, combining with the business sector, is aimed at totally transforming the way the force currently does business, improving the services provided to the public. So Alan Watt would like that, the services, right? You get to pick and choose. Obama signs phony policy directive that claims that the indefinite detention provision does not apply for U.S. citizens. That's right, U.S. to justify killing American terrorists who joined the CIA intelligence agencies backed Al-Qaeda, their own private terrorist organizations, i.e. you get entrapped or blackmailed or whatnot by the real terrorists. Pentagon admits presence of U.S. forces inside Yemen. So this was interesting because when they killed him, this individual, he's actually an American citizen, he was abroad, but this is about turning all of the terrorist apparatus towards the extremist Muslims inwards towards you, towards a person that's maybe be a nationalist or something, right? Because nationalism's dead. So now all that's going to be turned inwards towards you, and you're now the terrorist. So they're just setting the pretext, the legal pretext to kill Americans. But Yemeni militia claimed on Friday they had killed a CIA officer in exchange of fire in southern city of Aden after tracking him and determining he was cooperating with the Sana government. But just like the Bin Laden raid, destroying the compound, he was an asset, so they had to get rid of their asset. Some say re-election fears driving gun sales in Fort Worth and elsewhere. We saw that back in 2008. And Skull and Cross Boys, basically Skull and Bones, family told to take down the child's toy pirate flag because it breaches rules on advertising. No joke, guys. But remember this, British nuclear submarine to complete military action against Libya, hanging pirate flags to celebrate. So when the real terrorists, real pirates went in there and invaded a sovereign nation known as Libya, they hung the pirate flag, right? And remember this, the Nazis used it as well in their hats and that. But then you have Skull and Bones, which took it off it was all based off Geronimo, their big enemy, someone actually fought them. And they have yet to return his remains to his people. So, but yeah, it's about advertising, right? So the U.S. is to attempt overthrowing of Putin government. Says, as predicted, Western media has funded opposition inside Russia, have called Putin's landslide victory a fraud. It goes on and says the media has already determined how Russia's elections will unfold, creating the pretext in the minds of impressionable viewers to justify the unrest the U.S. is undoubtedly planning. And just like I talked about with World War II, World War I, the biggest purpose for that was to get rid of the Tsarist system in Russia, which is what the globalists did not want. This is GGN, and I'm Darko. Thank you.